and I planned to do one of these a month, we tuned into our self-help book listings with Tao of Tantric Arts by Milka DeFoss, cultivated sexual energy, love and spirit, and we were up to, I believe, recovery after childbirth, so that's what I've entitled this. I believe I'm probably going over where we were before, breastfeeding, care. I think I went into that a little bit and we maybe finished, but this goes into menopause, practices for promoting hormone balance, kidney breathing, deep sea turtle breathing, dragon washing her face, which we do often, Dante breathing, bone packing, triple warmer sound, the E sound, microcosmic orbit, the breast massage, chi self-massage, jade egg practice is mentioned here, moonlight practice, flowering the woman, and then we move into number 2, Tao of energy fundamentals, basic practices. So we'll see how far we get, because this covers chi, shen, the free dantians, the lower dantian, the kundalini, the middle dantian, the free mind into one, the power of free, beginning your practice, aligning with your higher purpose. You can see why I wanted to do this today. Spinal cord breathing, double lift, shimmy, spinal rocking, chest lift, sinking, winding, stirring the clouds, hinging up. So these are kind of body practices that I wanted to move into doing in some of these in class. Entering meditation postures and stuff, so it's really getting into the energy fundamentals of creating the emotional harmony and how that circle relates to the elements. And I figured, even hello, you're gonna be wanting to be with me today. He's showing you a bowl. Want to sit with mummy? Right, well, I better get started then. Oh look, it's 2222. Good. Are you going to be part of this, are you? Okay. Little fly that looks a bit like a fish. So, I'm going to start with where we left off, I believe. And I think I'm going back even a page. Orgasmic breathing. We spoke about into recovery after childbirth. So, after childbirth, the pelvic floor can remain painful for some time. Place your healing hands over your yoni and breathe slowly and deeply, soothing the area with blue, gentle light in healing information. Now, before I go any further, I want to do a little mini meditation. You sit up there, that's a good thing. A little meditation, see how far we get, as I'm inserting stuff. But I will go through, obviously, what it says in the book. Let me read to the end of that paragraph first. Blue, gentle light to heal inflammation. Breastfeeding will tone the uterus. Wait until the wall of your vaginas are healed before practicing with the jade egg, and start with gentle practices, lying down, waiting until the tissues are strong before practicing standing practice. One thing, as a woman that's birthed children, and I'm sure there's lots of mothers that maybe would be watching this video or drawn to this video, that may not have listened to any of the other parts of this book and may only listen to this part, if that's you. You're probably aware that when you breastfeed, it naturally pulls all the stomach in. You burn up to, I think it's like 900 calories or something a day when you're feeding. I tandem fed both of my children. Boobies never went back, so they stayed, because I didn't have to, thankfully. I was blessed to be able to do that. I'm not saying you have to do that at all, but that natural process allowed my body to do what it needed to over time. So I didn't have to wean off for going back to work. I never was able to pump to express, because I was the one giving the milk, and I would have been the one giving the express milk, and no one else was around for me to be able to get them to establish the express milk giving, so that never happened. Why would you take it from a bottle when you can smell it at source? It's just not going to happen. So that never got established. So when we're talking about feeding and breastfeeding, the body naturally does what it's meant to. So obviously it's not, we think of it as all natural. My friends say, oh, I thought you would want to do that because you come across as like this Mother Earthy energy. She says, I got my crown on today because I'm in our little divine goddess mode, and it's slipping. The crown is slipping. I'm not not by any means a saint, but I've got this in to be tuned into the beautiful Piscean energy. When I'm recording this, it's a Piscean full moon, and I want to talk about that kind of creative energy of the body and the energy flow in alignment with the structures, the basics, the biology. So I thought it was a good day to record this for that reason. And obviously it's birthing. We're in the eclipse portal as well in the next 2 weeks, referencing birthing, death, cycles and rebirth. So I'm talking about birthing, and obviously your body is healing. Allow yourself time, allow yourself the calories and fortitude of what you're putting into your body, to know that you're going to be upping that with high frequency calories that are healthy for you and your body to help it with healing. You have birthed a being, an amazing process in itself, but the body obviously needs time to recover. I myself, with my first, he was emergency C-section, so I had the physical operation of that to recover from as well. So I was lucky in the fact that my partner would help with the lifting, because even sitting up, all of that area was, so I do understand. You can use your Qigong practice to visualize these things. So visualize the yoni, visualize the beautiful blue energy of that healing energy. We're in a really good time for healing, and I feel this is definitely a time to heal the wounds of the womb, be it physical, just processes of the birth, or the process of the birthing consciousness that we are birthing as a humanity. So allow yourself to utilize this with intention, and letting go of the loss. It's like almost like you think about the afterbirth. It's those things that we're releasing are nutrients. That's why some people eat it. It's like, it's the aftermath is the nutrients of the soul we need to have, and all those lessons. So maybe I'm getting a bit too metaphoric, and I want to bring it back down. Breastfeeding will tone the uterus, it pulls it in, so it can feel a bit, takes a couple of days, especially if you've just given birth. So you need to wait until the walls of the vagina are healing before you practice any jade eggs experience. And obviously having the jade egg is it's these practice of like when you're holding that egg within the yoni, you're utilizing the muscles to build the muscle walls up. That practice can be done in yoga for the physical aspects of that, which we will come into. But I was blessed to meet Milka DeVos 2 years after the birth of my first son. So this is, I'll take this off, it feels like when I look down it's going to fall. It's near me. Those beautiful crystalline energies of amethyst. I don't sell them, by the way. This is my wedding crown, and I just would like to wear it around the moon. So Amber Hartnell, who starred in Birth as We Know It. So I was blessed to meet Milka DeVos 2 years after the birth of my son, which was an orgasmic experience that radically expanded my capability to feel pleasure and open me into my inherent ecstatic nature. When she began to share some of the practices from the feminine treasures, I lit up with delight as I discovered that many of these ancient techniques for cultivating our feminine radiance that she was transmuting, I was already connected to as the inner wisdom emerging through me from my inner inside out, guiding me into these spaces of cultivating and renewing In receiving her embodied wisdom, the deepest core of my being was affirmed, like the universe acknowledgement that I was on the right track to keeping listening and allowing this inherent wisdom that we all have to inform my practice from my connection to what feels natural and nourishing. One of the greatest gifts she gave me is our initial meeting was given back exponentially in my life, a jade egg. And the introduction of the practice I began to work with as a constant bias was astounded at what awoke within me. Within a few weeks of cultivation, vitality of my yoni and womb came online in a way I had never before known, and I not only regained the strength and tone that had exited prior to being stretched out in birth, but far surpassed into new realms of articulation and expansion in the subtle energies of pleasure. So that's so we go back up to it. So, breastfeeding with tone the uterus. Wait until the walls of the vagina are healed before practicing with the jade egg. Start with gentle practice, lying down. Wait until the tissues are strong before practicing standing practices. So there are various things other than jade eggs, but obviously the jade in itself, it's got its crystal as well, so you're working with the energy of the crystal within the body. And I think some of the other things, for me, I'm not saying don't use them, but the energy of them doesn't feel natural, doesn't have that connection to the earth in the same way when you're connecting to that energy. And obviously we want to do this in the highest sacred divine way. It's not in a pervy way. It's about honoring and knowing, and to not be ashamed of your pleasure, and being able to connect with that. So breastfeeding and breast care after childbirth. Breast milk is formed from the yin blood and produced by the spleen and stomach. So again, we are currently in the energy that's connected to the spleen. So great time to talk about this. I love the synchronicities of the world and what I'm drawn to talk about. Also, I remember reading this when I first started breastfeeding. It's one of the reasons that people would go, why are you still breastfeeding? Like they're like 4 now. It wasn't because I wanted to be breastfeeding. By then I was like, I want my body back, I want my life back, having to lay down to get them to go to sleep and all of that. But I knew it was magical in the fact that the moment they suckle, whatever they're exposed to virally, they would tell my body, and my body would create, through piggybacking through my immune system, for them before I've even got it. When we're exposed, it's a beautiful synchronistic energetical I just think it's just beautiful, and if you're able to do that. On the other hand, if you're not, don't worry. One of my friends, she could only feed with one. She was using like milk and formula and breast milk with just the one breast. I know people that it was way too painful for them, and there's traumas around that for their body and for what was happening. Now, in the first, what I will say, if you're someone that's considering it, it is painful. It's not natural. That's what I started to say. You think of it as this wholesome, natural, mother goddess. God, did it hurt. So don't have any illusions. But it heals really quickly. And as a first-time mum, I remember the nurse, the midwife, saying to me when I rang up to check, oh, my baby spat up blood. I'm assuming it's from me because of what they're feeding. She said the fact that you didn't panic was really, really quite unusual for a first-time mum. However, like using the milk in itself, people talk about cabbage leaves for soothing, just allowing the milk to fill up around because it's so healing. in itself was the best practice. I'd put these like guards on, and it wasn't the fact that they were guarding, but it was the fact they'd fill up with the milk, and then that would soothe and that would heal and help. And you get past that once you learn, and once they start to know how to latch on. But yeah, there's other videos out there that can discuss, like Burger was one that would be, they were like breast babies that would go through the hospital and helping people, showing how you do it, how to get it so that they can latch on properly. And it's a learning curve. It's just like anything with a mum. Before pregnancy, yin blood flows downward as menses. During pregnancy, the yin blood flows through the conception vessel and thrusting channel to nourish the fetus. After birth, the blood fluid turns from the red to the white and moves upward to become milk. Excess stress, grief, anger and stagnation can make the milk toxic. If the baby consumes this toxic milk, it can cause malnutrition, and that's why some people struggle, because energetically it's not the right thing for that mother and that child. It's not in best interest for neither. Gentle massaging of the breasts acts like a water wheel that pumps earth chi up through the inside of the leg, through the pelvis and up through the breast. For latching mothers, breast massage relieves engorgement, soreness or increasing drainage of lymph nodes and milk ducts, and promoting blood circulation. Massage and breasts can stimulate letdown and expression of milk and increase milk flow. Channel the Mother Earth energy up to the breasts when you're feeding, and massage in the lacunus of life force to replenish the breast after childhood birth. Mother can emphasize the uplift in the breast. Massaging the prevents sagging. It is vital for the mother to smile, because inner smile is obviously the qigong move that we do. We're cultivating that life force energy to the breast, and be grateful to her breasts as a source of nourishment for her child and herself. I was like, this is amazing. This is completely free. It's on tap whenever I need it. I thought, sorry, am I getting up to like have to do all this stuff? It was like sleep more. So they were all of those things that I was super grateful for. However, I know that there's some people that had to go through that, and I hope that if you are someone, reach out. There are so many groups. What's the one that I used to go to? It's specifically for breastfeeding mums. In your area, they will have, if you Google breastfeeding support group, I'm sure they will come up. And there was a group in my local area. Another mum I knew from nursery was the one that run it when at the time. They meet, they discuss problems and like long-term feeding, the difference between newborns and how they're feeding, and then like getting a toddler off when their teeth are coming through and all of that. It's really helpful to have that support and just hear those normal average problems that everybody has. Obviously we're talking about the everyday here, and obviously the energetical as well. So what was the other thing that just came into my head? The source of nourishment, the gratitude aspect of that is this process of life, being in honor of that, of Virgo Mother Earth energy. So Rachel, who's a mother, says, I have noticed a resurgence in my feminine energy and an overall sense of renewal. As for the breast massage, I have noticed that my breasts look and feel fuller and improved back to their normal state after having 2 children. Even my partner noticed. It's nice to know that a self-loving practice can enhance the tone and fullness of my breast, almost reversing time. So, and because you're not withdrawing quickly, and all of a sudden, that's when you get the pain. That's when you get things like mastitis happening. And I'm not going to go into all those. If there's someone that that wants to go deeper. I'm just talking about here in this video more the energetics, and I have, because obviously that's my own experience, I can share my own. So that cultivating that energy and recovering and allowing that time is important. That's why we have 6 weeks. They are not joking when they say you are super fertile as well. I have, is it 18 months between my two, and a lot of people feel that when they're breastfeeding, their menses, their periods stop. I knew I wanted to have and was going to have my two close together. I thought I would have twins in actual fact, and it was almost like having twins, because mine started straight back. I still had periods during breastfeeding, so that's a myth. I'm afraid for some women it stops, because they're not, and I think my personal opinion would be because energetically their body needs to just focus on that one energy, that one life, that feeding of that. For me, I tandem fed, so I fed even after my son was born. I was continuing feeding while I was pregnant, and all the way through, and then again with my daughter when she come along, one on one and the other. So I fed both throughout their toddler years. So, and long-term fed as those things that are there in the beginning, that are the benefits, continue throughout. And we weaned when it felt the right time. I knew when it was right, as though part of me really wanted it to be sooner. Every time I tuned into guidance, it was no, they're not ready yet, this is not the right time. And then it was it obviously got less and just became night time, and less and less and less, and then it was nice to have my body back. So natural progression. So here is another natural progression, something that in the West we see as a big deal, but in the East it's almost non-existent in some ways, because of diet, because it can affect it so much, our energy can affect it, and the way we view it. Yes, of course, I'm talking about menopause, the second spring. Menopause is a second spring during which the energy that was once lost in menstruation can be channeled into the body, mind instead. It's a progression of that energy that your body is working to the female eggs that it releases each month. That's the potential to create life. You create life in other ways. Your project, you're channeling that energy, and it flows differently. So it can be channeled into the body and the mind instead. This is the body's way of anti-aging. Instead of the blood being used to grow a physical child, the chi in the blood is freed up to grow up in a spiritual child. Many women become very psychic and powerful in this period. That's why it's associated with Wicca, with the wise woman, the mother, the crone, and the wise woman becoming your wisdom woman. Many women become psychic and powerful in this period of life. Practice that builds kidney energy are good during the menopause time. So see, building your core reservoir, which is associated with the kidneys. We're referencing chapter 8, but we're not quite there yet. So hot flushes and insomnia, and people ask me about this often. One of the things I recommend is a cucumber before bed. It cools the energy temperature of that hot, and helps with sleep because it's immune boosting. So juicing organic cucumbers, or really washing the medical medium with information, and his website will tell you about all the benefits and the correct. Right, so where did we get to? Here we go. I was just about to read the hot flushes and insomnia. I can't do this with you on it. I'm sorry, mate. You're going to have to sit on my lap. You can't be on my shoulders. I know you love me. I love you too. But can we just pop you there? There we go. Look, that's better, isn't it? There. Bless him. Okay, so where did we get to? Hot flushes. During menstruation, the core channel of the uterus fills up with blood, which then moves downward during menopause. This flow is reversed and moves upwards to the heart, the palace of the spirit. The tendencies of aging, the separation of the polarity of hot and cold, can cause disturbance. Disturbing symptoms in menopause. Women often become yin deficient as yang speeds up, causing heat to rise in the body. Sometimes the rising energy is chaotic and overly hot, leading to symptoms like hot flushes and insomnia. The deep water reservoirs in the kidneys start to dry up. Now, I've spoken about how our kidney energy, and I was speaking about this recently, is the energy that we are or have passed down genetically from, from our parents. So that's the energy that we have in reserve. So think of it like in terms of a bank account, that particular energy, not all of our energy, but that particular energy. So if you're putting in deposits, like eating healthy, doing certain things to cultivate that, or you're taking out, the more you take out, the less there is, and you want that to have that balance. So this is referring to this sort of genetic energy here. That we are meant to, in this philosophy, in this process and energy system, have a certain amount of reserves. If we do or not, this is what the process talks about. So before I can get people going, at that. So where do we get to? Women often become yin deficient as yang speeds up, causing heat to rise in the body. Sometimes the rising energy is chaotic and overheats, leading to symptoms like hot flushes, insomnia. The deep water reserves of the kidneys start to dry up. It is possible, however, to alleviate these common symptoms with regular practice. To prevent these extreme polarities, we need to energize or energetically link up our lower and upper body by replenishing our kidneys and our chi belt. We have a yin and yang kidney, which are like cold and hot water taps to the body, keeping the Ming Mang, which is your door of life, open. Your Ming Mang, which is your door of life, not your lower dantian, open and moving. The chi between the kidneys will help keep the balance. Circulation and circulating energy around the microcosmic orbit is excellent for curbing hot flushes, insomnia, and other menopausal experiences. Channeling energy in the microcosm orbit will balance rising and descending energy. The fire and water circulating chi in the fire cycle orbit transforms the emotions which burn up inside. Circulating chi in the water circle, the wisdom, and we talk about in class, bringing up a little kidney wisdom and bringing down that energy. This is the move that we do. That's what we're doing when we're doing that in class. Wisdom circle of the crone will help replenish feminine water. So see microcosmic orbit meditation in chapter 2, which is later. The healing sounds can also be used to release excess heat, coldness, and other imbalanced chi. The heart sound, which we often do in class, the I often do in meditation, don't we? Because it calms the false fire in the heart associated with overdoing and overgiving, which we are both real danger for women. As we let go, we can perceive our true feelings and needs more clearly. When there is too much heat that rises to the heart and the head, it is difficult to sleep. Practice like the triple warmer sounds will bring excess heat down from the upper body to the belly and the feet. This is why I think I've done videos on this when you're trying to sleep. I'll do it with you now though. The triple warmer is really good because it rebalances all of the qigong sounds, and when you go through, that is brilliant to do before bed. So even just that calming, I think I've got a little mini video that you can listen to if you don't want to do it, or you can express with somewhere on Instagram or YouTube, I believe, rather than it might even be Facebook or you, whether it's on YouTube. I'll have a look if I've got it in video form and I can upload it in the reels. I'm starting to do little do short form as well as the long form videos for those who are being introduced to this material. So the healing sand can also be a releasing excess heat, so that overwhelmment is a good time. Then if you're feeling heated up, you can down, you can let go of that too much fire energy. So great to do if you're feeling triggered as well. Women in this time of life are often sandwiched between having children at home, caring for aging parents, and working a job. With this busy schedule, there is not much time to rest and replenish the blood. The kidneys need sufficient blood to circulate and keep the body at a comfortable temperature. A practice to help replenish the blood is to rest for at least 20 minutes daily, practicing deep breathing, listening to music, meditating, or praying. This is not a time to be watching TV or reading a book, because where your mind goes, your chi flows. Make time to come back to that conscious yin state of receiving life force from nature and the universe. Be still or in the subtle movement with a quiet mind and awareness of your body. It is highly recommended that you lie down on the earth. When we lie on the earth, we align with the earth energy, allowing your body's magnetic field to be reset by the earth's resonance. So part of our practice daily, we're moving, we're doing that, and you'll notice I break it into 3 parts now. We often, some of it will be all quiet, but it is with breath, with flow, with the movement, but we always have a quiet time practice, a meditative practice, maybe a visualization for monkey mind and breath. And I'm increasingly bringing in more, and especially now I'm loving my little getting to do all my stuff that I've studied over the last few years as well, with the breath work as well, so we can do that more. Let me know if that's something that you want to have a little video that I can create that's just for that. I spoke about that in this week's Meditation Monday. Actually, we were working with breath cycles and breath work more from the Indian culture rather than the Chinese, but it's still valid. So we'll do different breaths though. So the Taoist practice that promotes hormonal balance, Taoist sexual energy practice, are a way of preventing the hormone factory from shutting down after menopause. The adrenals take over from the ovaries in hormone function, and therefore it's important to keep the adrenals happy and replenished. Replenish the adrenals by having enough sleep at night, particularly before midnight, and by doing kidney breathing. See the herbalist about taking herbal formulations to nourish the yin essence. The goji berries are considered a superior tonic that can be taken on an ongoing basis and prevent youthfulness. I would insert into that my awareness of the medical medium and allowing your kidneys to do what they do in the morning. So one of the things I do as a protocol is I don't have any radical fats, even the good fats, until after 12 o'clock, which means my kidneys are still able to clear out. So I will do my lemon juice in the morning, my celery, I'm giving it what it needs to do what it needs in the body, in the cells, so that can go off and do what's what. So it doesn't have anything that it'll have to start to break down and do a different function with just things like fruit and veggies. And then that fat, when it's introduced, it switches what it does, the function, as it starts to break down that, which obviously your body still needs, those avocados, those nuts, etc. So, but the 369 cleanse can allow your liver replenishment and for you to have and kind of give it back, like you're depositing more in that bank, if you like. And I'd highly recommend that. No, I'm not an affiliate. I am a fan because I've seen it happen for so many people. The whether you call it a permission slip or not, I have seen how it works. So you believe it, you see it, I guess. So kidney breathing also, we can do this quickly now. I would just straightening here at the back of your kidneys and literally holding here, breathing in and out. In and out. Visualizing beautiful light flowing to those kidneys. There we go. I'm just going to leave it at that because obviously today we're not in class, but if you want to join me for more movement practice on the practical sense, then every morning at 6:30 I am live UK time. The recording goes straight up on the members area and in their group, and you can check that out on any of my social media for what you need. This is an important practice for replenishing yin energy, so what we were just doing after menopause. Holding the breath and earth energy in the kidneys will recharge your batteries. Make sure to bring the excess warmth of the heart, so heart calming practice, obviously that's part of it, to the kidneys and the heart, and warm the kidneys for more yin style. You can do this practice lying down, with your knees up and feet flat on earth. So we'll go into that as a particular in chapter 8. Deep sea turtle breathing will open the Ming Man. Your Ming Man is this area at the back. Dragon washing her face. This practice brings the heat down the thrusting channel to prevent hot flushes, which can dry up the deeper reservoirs of the energy. Downward strokes of the arm calm the nervous system, preventing insomnia. By stroking the left and right channels alternatively, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system are balanced. This will calm the adrenals and decrease the body. The triple warmer purification practice in chapter 6. Dantian breathing centers the heat below the navel and develops core power. When you store the heat in the proper place, the heat will be less chaotic. Bone breathing builds the body in the bone marrow, so you have enough blood to circulate. See bone marrow Naigoin practice in chapter 8. Bone packing is the bones are a great place to store excess sexual energy. The heat, this practice stores energy, preventing stiffness, and builds bone mass, preventing osteoarthritis. Obviously there's a link to long-term breastfeeding in helping that, so your energy, the flow has been and is doing what it's naturally, so like you were saying with the red first for feeding the baby, and then that energy of the white flowing up to do what it needs to do, and then that actually then strengthens the bones on the long term for the women. Micro cosmic orbit channels free up energy in the balanced center way, circulating the energy balance and the hot and cold in the body. It diminishes chi evenly throughout the glands, promoting hormonal balance. Starting the microcosmic orbit early will give you a smooth ride through this stage of your life. If you're what we call pre-menopause. Perimenopause is, or menopause as we think of it, is actually when you've gone through it. Perimenopause is pre-menopause, peri is after. So you've got, if you can get this before you go through the menopause, this will really help you or prevent those symptoms from even coming out. And because this is a practice that's kind of widespread throughout the East, that's why they have lower symptoms of that. They've more awareness of this from doing these practices regularly or having this awareness. Will give you a smooth ride through that stage of life. Breast massage enhances the activation of the female hormones, whilst nipple gland massage balances those hormones. So self-massage improves blood and lymph circulation, preventing stagnancy and cancer. Now, as someone, my mum had her transition experience was breast cancer. It's very rare to die of breast cancer, but my mum passed from breast cancer, so this is close to my heart. So I know that there's a link. Big fan of Louise L. Hay and her work, and would highly recommend people to read the meaning and the affirmations that go with it. I can't remember them offhand actually, and I don't think I've got you can. Oh, I have actually. Yeah, here we go. Hang on. You can heal your body. Let me just. I can't pause it. Let's see if I've got the affirmation for breast. That'd be worth. Maybe see. Bleeding, blisters, blood problems, BBBR. I think. Bone. Sorry, just bear with me a second. Birth, bite, bleeding, blood pressure, bone. I'm sure there was one for breast cancer. Breasts represent mothering and nurturing and nourishment. And so the affirmation for the breast is, I take in and give out nourishment in perfect balance. Breast problems, either cysts, lymph, soreness, mastitis, which is obviously happens during breastfeeding, a refusal to nourish the self happens during this point, and putting everything else first, over mothering, over protection, overbearing attitudes are the core systems and structures that create those issues. And the affirmation for this to align with is, I am important, I count, I now care for and nourish myself with love and with joy. I allow others the freedom to be who they are. We are all safe and free. So I think that's important to mention. Breathing problems, is there anything else? Let's just say menopause as well, whilst we're here with this book. Menopause problems is fear of no longer being wanted, fear of aging, self-rejection and not feeling good enough, which I believe is the core of everything. As we were talking about in class this morning. If that is you, then I refer you to this morning's class. I think I did it live on my Instagram channel. There's a video with that for an affirmation and tapping through that today. I am balanced and peaceful in all changes of cycle. I am blessed and my body with love. So I feel menstrual problems as well, rejecting of one's femininity, guilt, fear, belief that the genitals are sinful and dirty. And the affirmation here, which may be relevant for some, I accept my full power as a woman and accept all my body processes as normal and natural. I love and approve of myself. So worth knowing those. So where did we get to? So all right, and heat. We've got to bone packing. Great place to store excess sexual energy and heat. The practice stores energy, preventing stiffness and building bone mass, preventing osteoarthritis. That was it. Triple warmer is the he sound that I spoke about. It's talking about that now. Cools the body, balancing, and it's good to be cooler at sleep. You know, it's a myth about being really hot at night. It's hard to sleep. You need that cooler temperature for your body to go to sleep. Your body will start to drop in temperature, and then it's easier for you to sleep if it's slightly cooler in the room. Cools the body balance, temperature, and is a great way to induce sleep. It can also be practiced to chill down a hot flush, so you can use that sound if you're having a hot flush. The microcosmic orbit channel frees up energy in a balanced, centered way, circulating the energy, balancing the hot and cold in the body. It distributes chi evenly throughout the, bear in mind I'm dyslexic reading here, she says, going into my own fear and doubt there, evenly throughout the glands, promoting hormonal balance. Starting the microcosmic orbit early will give you a smooth ride. We did read this, didn't we, through these stages of your life. So breast massage, enhancing, activating of female hormones whilst nipple glands massaging. We said that one as well, didn't we? Chi self massage, that was where I got to when I went there, so apologies if I'm repeating. It is an excellent antidepressant as well for the breast massage. So let me just read that one again. Enhancing the activation of female hormones whilst nipple glands massaging balance those hormones. Self massage improves the blood and the lymph circulation, preventing stagnancy and cancer. That's where we got to. This ancient practice has helped women keep their breasts healthy for thousands of years. It also gets you in touch with your heart and feelings. It is an excellent antidepressant. So I would suggest doing that. And one of the things that I feel it's important for women to do is become familiar with their body outside of any sexual encounters, knowing yourself on all levels. You need to know your body. You need to not be ashamed of your body. Sometimes it takes a little bit of getting over that, especially if you've been brought up to be, oh, that's a sin, that the body is evil in that sense, and that everything to do with pleasure is wrong. We are divine beings, our bodies are divine beings, and my thoughts on that is that it would not be a process and a joy and there in the first place if it wasn't created for that purpose. So for anyone questioning my evilness about this, and believe me, I've had that question before, and I maybe it triggered me because of my own a view of that at the time, of shame, of being someone that had come from, not from my own personal family, but had been exposed to abuse. So that skewing of pleasure being a bad thing in the mind gets mixed up. That whole receiving bad becomes mixed up until those patterns are healed for lots of us. And I think becoming a mother, we have to heal our own history genetically, energetically, to allow ourselves to not put those patterns onto our children. Our children help us heal them to be the best mums in a sense as well. And that relationship with the mother, whether you've got a good one or a bad one, it's important to heal that for you, not even if you don't ever speak to that person again, but to heal the wounds from it in order to have a healthy, healed relationship with your own children or with someone you're mothering. You don't have to be an actual mother. I know this title was about after childbirth, so you may not be necessarily drawn to this. I might change that title because we've gone more into menopause and the energies as well in other areas. So self-acupressure, it stimulates the anti-aging growth hormones and helps rejuvenate the body. Massage improves blood circulation. We often in class, I will get you to massage. So we've been doing the tapping of the thymus. This is that point here that helps stimulate and activate our immunity, which is thumping with the thymus. And kidney 27, it's related to the kidney. You're helping the kidney energy, and your kidney is obviously backed up to, and you've got the spleen and the gallbladder, and they're all linked in how they work together. Improving the blood circulation with massage, and obviously our circulation regenerate from the just below the skin is referenced, I believe it's the Wei Qi that we work with or speak of in Qigong. Jade egg practice prevents the vagina muscles from atrophy. If you don't use it, you lose it. These practices prevent vaginal dryness by stimulating the flow of creative juices and natural lubrication. So it's making sure it's being used, especially if you are not someone that has a partner is sexually active. You're still building those muscles up or keeping that process active, like all things. A moonlight practice will fill you with deep yin energy. If you keep you in connection with the powerful cycles of the moon, we are recording this on the full moon for a reason. Bath your yoni in moonlight will recharge it with the forces that move the tides of the ocean. You don't have to go out and be laying naked in the garden. That's not what if you want to. Absolutely down to you, whatever floats your boat. However, you can visualize feeling the energy of release. My cycles have synced with cosmic alignments rather than moon cycles, which is more of a traditional around the time a woman is releasing her egg in line with the full moon and becomes very in tune with those processes. You link to that cycle in the fullness of releasing and letting go, because your body's releasing and letting go. And then new moon, new planting, new seeds, new intention around the new moon. That will change depending on whether you're ready to have a baby, whether you are wanting to have a baby. That kind of becomes in alignment when you are in alignment with the processes of that, I believe. But you may, like myself, who is very linked to the solar activity and the solar cycles, I feel more in link with the cosmic. And I believe personally, this is my own belief, that we will start to have longer cycles because we will start to live longer, and therefore natural process will not have babies as frequently, and be more in alignment with cosmic longer cycles of time rather than the lunar one. But if you are wanting to utilize the energy, which I love doing in coming together and gatherings, because this energy has been utilized for thousands of years, you can do so. So, flowering woman, this is a poem here. When the flower within us blooms together, the garden is fragrant, our hearts fill with colour. When the buds of our being arise and source, the palace is golden, our bodies are glorious. When the sun of the heavens shines light through the bodies, our ancestors rejoice, our cells are reborn. And that concludes chapter, is that chapter 1, I believe? We're still, yeah, that is concluding of chapter 1. And as we're at an hour, I'm going to leave that. So next time we can start with Tao energy fundamentals, the basic practice. And I believe I did go over this video. We might have gone over in one of our previous videos, but we will start with this because for some reason this is here. The three treasures next time, the Jin, Qi and the Shen, the basics, which is about the essence, the Jin energy, the Jin and the Shen, as I mentioned in the beginning, the energy, the Shen, the spirit. Qi is the Jin, the Qi is the energy, the Shen is the spirit, the free treasures of sexual identity, Kundalini, the free dantians, the lower dantian, the middle dantian, and the upper dantian, and the free minds into one. So I will do that in a separate video. I will see you next time for our little self-help, self-shelf segment. Thanks for joining me. Let me know your thoughts on this. Are you someone that's breastfed? Have you just had a baby? If you're viewing this later as a member, in the members group, whether you're viewing it live, I think I might even put this one public. We'll see what people think. I'll have a word with members. I think this might be quite helpful for people to have this particular video. Blessings.